an argument ensued between Valentina and, of course, Elvira was actually bedridden, but they were very distraught and upset.
Makes you wonder if she'd been doing that the whole time, and that's why she was so successful.
Yeah, could have been. Who knows? I do know that her brother was actually helping her. He was actually a notary and was also in real estate at the time. But the argument ensued between Valentina and Rosalba, but she didn't just come armed with escrow papers. She came armed to that confrontation with a hammer and a knife.
Holy cow.
Welcome back to another episode of Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages.
I'm Chef.
And I'm Robbie, and we are real estate professionals who have seen both the dark and light side of real estate.
Not that there's much light.
Well, there are closings.
Yeah.
Or come to the light.
I guess on that side there's more celebrations, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
What's our theme for today, Chef?
Probably more on the mayhem side. I've got a really good story for you.
All right, well, let's just blow some shit up and see what happens.
Today, I am going to introduce you to Marvin John Heemeyer.
I've never heard of this dude.
Well, there's actually a documentary about him and his Dozer.
Ooh, sounds fun. I think my grandsons would love it.
So Marvin was a muffler-shop owner in Granby, Colorado, which is one of my favorite places to visit in the summertime.
So
And
you've been to this town?
yes, yeah, I go every summer, and I was telling one of my friends about how much I enjoy this place, and he's like, Granby, I know about this place.
That's never good. That's just never good.
So he told me about this guy. He owns the muffler shop in Granby, and he was having some longstanding zoning disputes with the county, basically tied to the sewage, and he was supposed to have a septic tank or tied into
Smells like something's fishy.
Yeah, at some point he just basically had a hole that his sewage was going into.
Oh,
and
Jesus Christ. So clean.
he would pump it into a drainage ditch, and so
Environmentally friendly.
they wanted him to have proper sewage, either a septic tank or tied into the main sewer lines, which we both know can be incredibly expensive.
But also incredibly smelly if you don't handle it correct.
Yes.
All right. So I can kind of see both sides. I mean, like, it's expensive, but shit, the smell.
But they were building a concrete plant, and the concrete plant was trying to get this land that he owned, where the muffler shop was.
Sounds like some shenanigans with eminent domain.
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of back and forth. He tried suing them about, having to do this and it costing him money. And he essentially lost the lawsuit, and they were going to do an easement through his property.
Now, is this a situation where it's like David versus Goliath? He's a small town business owner versus a large corporation or a family with money?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, the people that owned the land originally that he built his muffler shop on, they had lost it, and he bought it at auction.
Oh.
And so there might have been some personal disputes along with the zoning disputes, but essentially he lost his lawsuit, and over an 18-month period, he had kind of holed himself into his muffler shop and started fortifying a bulldozer
No shit.
that he bought at auction.
You got it. Are you? Do we have a picture of it?
There it is.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Fortifying it, yes, with concrete and steel. He had bought this bulldozer at auction from a company called Ritchie Brothers, which is where my friend worked, and how this story ended up coming about. And so,
oh my God, that thing looks like it's from like World War II, like some kind of Nazi experiment of a tank.
Serious
and a bulldozer.
Tank. Yes. And so once he was done fortifying it, he proceeded to start bulldozing the town.
That entire town?
A lot of important buildings. He had gotten like the town hall. He targeted the local newspaper, the concrete plant, which was probably more personal than the rest of them. The former mayor's house. the former mayor's house, and a bank. And basically, in total, there was 13 buildings that he bulldozed.
Nice.
And this thing was so fortified.
This is like Bob the Builder. Let's blow shit up. But instead, let's just bulldoze it.
Rated MA, Bob the Builder. But this thing was so fortified at one point, I think the sheriff's office was on top of this thing trying to shoot into it to stop this rampage because it was causing so much damage.
Try to stop me now.
Yeah. And they were ultimately unsuccessful. And at one point, I mean, I think this went on for a little over 2 hours, between 2 or 3 hours. And
It took them 2 to 3 hours to destroy half the town.
yes.
That is most excellent. Wow, that is chaos.
And unfortunately, he ended up taking his own life at the very end.
I
But
wonder if insurance paid out for that or if it's
causing
under your
quite a bit of
terrorism claim
damage.
clause.
I mean, there had to have been something, but I mean, because this happened in the early 2000s, much of the main part of Granby is brand new now
Wow.
because he destroyed a lot of stuff and caused quite a bit of damage. And
Interestingly enough, in 2001, I mean, just bring it back to real estate. In 2001, obviously, we had September 11th,
mhm.
and insurance companies changed the way they paid out on things and now created terrorism clauses as to whether or not this is why I'm asking, because literally prior to that, there was no terrorism clause. But
Yeah,
now, even on your home and your bank and your business policies, you have this terrorism clause that you have to opt in or opt out of as to whether or not. So, if somebody's flying around in a plane or some act of
interesting.
terrorism like a death dozer comes along, and I guess, yeah, if you're worried about Builder the Bob going batshit crazy, you'll want to opt in on that.
I guess that would be so local terrorism.
Oh,
That's
that's
just
crazy.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate that something like that would even happen, and it destroyed so many lives, and including his own. I mean, he ended up taking his own life after, essentially spending his money trying to build his dream business, and it's just unfortunate that it went that direction.
That is definitely sad and obviously some seriousness. I know I joke around quite a bit because I am chaos.
I mean,
And
how could you not about a killdozer though?
no,
That's
it's really
that's
cool.
crazy.
I can't wait to show my grandsons that.
There's even a whole documentary about it.
Really, I've
Mhm.
got to check it out. So that's pretty crazy. That's terrorism at its finest, domestic terrorism at its finest.
Yeah, well, top that, Robin.
Okay. So this week, I did bring a destructive case in. You would have thought that this might have happened in Florida, but it turns out this happened in San Pedro, California.
Opposite side of the political spectrum.
Completely opposite side. So we're bringing to you the broker of death and destruction. So
Okay.
the case is Rosalba Contreras. Have you ever heard of the name?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so she was actually a very successful real estate broker, a very savvy, enjoyed a very successful and lucrative career. Uh, where that career kind of took a left turn was she particularly took an interest in an elderly family, and that family's name is actually Jesus. I can't. I apologize. My names are forgetting me. The Partitas family,
Hmm.
and it is Elvira and Valentina Partitas. And basically, she decided to help them with real estate. Now, the Partitas family was a successful family. They built an estate about 2 million plus, and which back then was great, fantastic money,
Say 2 million gets you a shack now.
right? And basically, but they were in their 90s at the end of their career, needed some help in managing and procuring, buying, selling some of their investment cases. So
Okay.
um, they also bought a home for themselves, actually, and she helped them with the purchase of that home. But over time, she had convinced them, hey, it would be helpful to open up a joint account with her and place some money in there so that she could help them move money and facilitate some of these transactions a little bit easier.
Sketchy.
It does seem sketchy, and again, the bread trail, it is there, people, so kinda watch out for the sketchiness of things, but, over time, they noticed that, the money was disappearing, and she was also selling their properties at a discounted rate, both to herself, ironically, and then turning around and selling it for a significant profit to another party.
Hmm.
And after discovering this, they called her out to their home and confronted her with this situation because at that point, by their tally, she had already taken them for about $2 million.
Jeez.
Yes. And an argument ensued between Valentina and, of course, Elvira was actually bedridden, but they were very distraught and upset.
Makes you wonder if she'd been doing that the whole time, and that's why she was so successful.
Yeah, it could have been. Who knows? I do know that her brother was actually helping her. He was actually a notary and was also in real estate at the time. But the argument ensued between Valentina and Rosalba. But she didn't just come armed with escrow papers. She came armed to that confrontation with a hammer and a knife.
Holy cow.
I kid you not. She took the hammer to Valentine and basically bludgeoned him to death with 18 slams with the hammer.
Oh my goodness.
Now, Elvira happened to be bedridden. She was in her 90s, and she took the knife and slit her throat. And as if that wasn't dark enough, she then burned the damn house down to cover up her tracks.
Oh my God.
So, after burning down the house, of course, fire department responds, police respond, and they come out, they put out the fire, and miracle of all miracles. I mean, unfortunately, Valentina didn't make it, but miracle of all miracles, Elvira survived. They take her to the hospital, and she survived for another 6 months. But she eventually came to succumb to her injuries from smoke inhalation and having her
So
throat
did she
slit. And
ever
she was
wake
elderly.
up to be able to identify like what
That
happened to
part
her?
I don't know, but I do believe she did. I do believe she was able to give police some information on what had happened, and pretty quickly they circled and basically indicted Rosalba on both fraud charges, a homicide charge, and an attempted homicide at the time because she was still
Wow.
alive in the hospital. And eventually, after 6 months, it turned into double homicide and arson.
That's
And
crazy because usually real estate agents have to worry about people hurting them, but you just don't hear about having to worry about your real estate agent.
right, questionable escrow on that.
Devil's
Um,
in the details.
Devil's in the details for sure. So, she is actually in prison though, and was convicted and is still there. But
Do you think
where?
the brother was in on it?
Oh, he definitely was in on it. I believe he turned and testified against his sister,
Just to
but he
give,
never lost his license. That's what I find creepy enough. Like, how the hell did he not lose his license after that?
especially under
But
ethics.
a decade later, literally, they find him dead. He was supposed to be showing a foreclosed property. And that case remains open to this day and unsolved. And there's a lot of suspicion as to whether or not he was killed in response in like a
For turning
retaliation.
on his sister, maybe?
Yes.
Hmm.
And so talk about sibling rivalry. It is dark, and I can't understand how they're both in real estate and both involved in fraud and chaos and murder and I mean, like, this involves everything.
It
You got
sounds
a
like
foreclosed
Dexter and his
property.
serial
It
killer brother.
does, doesn't it? Like, I don't want to know that mother. Where did she go wrong? So, anyway, but he's dead. She's in jail, and unfortunately, the victims of this case, they lost out on millions. So.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But it is the most murder, mayhem, mortgages story I have ever come across. Like boom, boom, boom. So,
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably have to give you a 5 in all categories because that's
boom.
pretty
Yes.
extreme, Robin.
I mean, like, this is chaos at its finest. If you're looking for some dark stories, this is it. Rosalba is a dead ringer for a female
That would
Dexter
make a
out in
good
California.
Lifetime movie.
Oh, don't you think?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, and can't you imagine the actress that would play it? Like J Lo would make that shit
I was
crazy.
thinking of Sofia Vergara. She would make a good one.
Ooh. Oh, I'd love to see that. Sophia, if you're out there, check it out. Let's write the script for that. We can do that. We can come together. We can help. So,
Yes.
all right. So, on the Death Dozer, I'm going to give you a 5 on Mayhem, a 4 because of death and destruction of a town. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, losing a property. I mean, there wasn't technically foreclosure or fraud, but it's
No, no
questionable behavior
mortgages.
of the concrete company. So I'm going to give you another 4 for that.
Now, what
So
I
it's
would like to
solid
know
scaling.
is where is this killdozer? If anybody knows, if you have some leads on where this killdozer is,
And
let
if
us
we
know.
can write it, I would love that.
Oh my gosh.
I'll take a paintball gun and go hang out for a while.
I would be interested to see what happened to it. Was it re-auctioned?
Yes.
Destroyed in 2004.
Oh, why? Why do they always
Oh,
ruin the good stuff? I mean, like,
darn.
you could have an entire amusement park for that. That's sad. I mean,
Yeah.
like, ride the Death Dozer. I would go to that amusement park, instead
They
of
probably
Builder Bob, it's like,
They probably
come.
destroyed it because they didn't want anybody getting any ideas on how to fortify a piece of construction
Right,
equipment.
but I would pay a solid $1,000 to have one of those small buildings and just drive right over it and
don't
feel
need
powerful.
to give people ideas.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Murder, Mayhem, and Mortgages.
If you have your own personal stories, please send them to us at our email below.
And of course, follow us on any of our social media items and watch us on any of our podcast items like Podbean or
Don't forget
YouTube.
to like and subscribe.
Absolutely.